Hello. It is my honor to try to answer your questions about meditation and spiritual practice based on my 25 years of Buddhist study myself. I, this week's question is a hard one, um, and I'll share it with you. I've been meditating regularly now for 6 years. It has changed my life and made me a much calmer, more aware person. However, I'm having a really hard time lately and I can't seem to get my head around it. I'm an American and have a hard time reconciling peace within myself when there are so many things happening or about to happening, horrible things happening or about to happen. Reading the news brings a new horror. Nearly every single day I don't recognize the country I call home. I don't watch the news, I read it. I can't not read it because I refuse to be uninformed. And I have children who need me to be able to talk to them about the world. Ignorance is not an option. I'd love to hear any thoughts or advice. Well, my first thought is I feel you, and you are not alone in your shock and confusion. And I appreciate you and applaud you for being willing to look at the horrors of today so that you can be a benefit to your children or other people in general. But let's break down your question. The first part is you're having a hard time reconciling feeling peace within yourself when there's so much trauma and horror in the world. And I think there's an erroneous assumption in there, which is that you're going to have to choose between those two states. If you feel peaceful, it means you don't care about all the terrible things that are happening. That's not true. And if you feel if you feel completely riled up and upset, it means you care and you're not trying to ignore things. And I don't think that's quite true either. When you feel moments of peace in your day through your practice or just for whatever reason, I think it would be doing yourself and your children and me and your world a disservice by thinking, I can't feel those moments because I don't, the world is too horrible and no one deserves to feel peace when when others are so victimized. However, if you don't allow yourself to enjoy the moments of peace, the organic moments that arise on their own, you are depriving yourself of an energy source that can sustain you when you need to face what is most difficult. So when moments of peace arise, I suggest enjoying them, being grateful for them. The difficulty arises when you try to hold on to them. So when they begin to dissolve, we say goodbye. I hope you'll be back. And when moments of incredible rage and sorrow, angry sorrow, that's my most common state of mind, arise, you can appreciate them too for what they reveal about how much you care. So the main point I want to make here is you don't have to choose between feeling peaceful and feeling enraged. And that if you do feel peaceful, it means you're not feeling appropriately enraged. If we are fortunate enough to have positivity in our life, we can enjoy that positivity. We can appreciate the good fortune that we have without thinking that you're taking anything from someone else. In fact, again, the enjoyment of your good fortune, whatever it may be, is fuel for you to use when you need it. The next part of your question is, I can't avoid the news. I refuse to avoid the news because I don't want to be ignorant. I need to know what's going on. I want to be able to explain things to my children and be able to help them when they need me. That's very admirable. And I would also say that in addition to being informed, your children, I imagine, need you to be strong, need you to be balanced, need you to be sane, clear, energized, and available. And when you're rubbing yourself raw through the trauma of incessant news ingestion, the likelihood that you will have those qualities that they also need is diminished. So we all have to make our judgments about this. And there are people on two sides of the spectrum. Some people say, I'm just not going there. It's too upsetting. I'm just going to shut it out because it is too painful. Other people say, screw you. You have to pay attention. You have to be informed. You have to note everything. You have to be angry, or you're not paying attention and you're not doing any good in the world. To both of you, I say, no. For myself personally, I have to balance what I take in and what I do with my capacity to actually do my work in the world, which is to write and teach and so on. So you can't ignore, agreed. That would be wrong. That would be a sin. That would be a crime. No, everybody needs to participate. Everybody has got to do something at this point in the world to right the balance. So you can't ignore. I agree with you. However, you can't also be incessantly pushing your face in the pain with the idea that unless you're doing that, you are reneging on a certain responsibility. I don't think so. Your responsibility is to maintain your sanity. Because when our actions are rooted in sanity, they have the capacity to imbue sanity, to transmit sanity. But when our actions are rooted in insanity, in rage warranted, in hate, in exhaustion, then they are more likely to imbue those qualities rather than what I know you seek, which is to make our world sane again. So I hope this is useful. Many people, myself included, relate very strongly to your question. Let me know. And if you have questions about your practice or meditation or Buddhism that I might be able to help with, please don't hesitate to leave them in comments and I will do my best. Thank you.